Good evening once again. My name is Samson Emelike. I'm the coordinator for Havron e-learning hub. And this evening, we want to discuss Havron Ambassadorial Scheme. And we've tried to explain what this scheme is all about. And in a very simple and plain language, it's just it's a strategy on how to increase access to learning programs from Havron, and then motivating those who are playing parts in this drive to increase access. So in a plain language, that is what the Havron Ambassadorial Scheme is all about. And so this evening, we want to just take a short overview of what this scheme is all about, what features are present in it. So we would like to start with a background. Havron e-learning hub has the mission of bridging the skills gaps in Africa using online learning programs and career pathways. And our vision is to be one of the leading online learning platforms in Africa. We have a midterm goal, a 10 years goal, which is to create access to high quality and cost-effective online programs for 10,000 participants from across Africa by 2027. So we actually set this goal in 2017 when we set out. And so by December 2021, that's some months back, when we look back at what we have done, we realized that we had given access to 2,504 participants. And this cuts across participants who registered for professional development courses, for advanced postgraduate diploma programs, for bachelor programs, Bachelor of Science programs, masters, and PhD programs. And this represents 25% of our target. Now, if you check back 2017 and 2021, that's about 4 years. And so if in 4 years, we are still at 25%, it means we have a long way to go. And this is what gave birth to this drive to see how we can ramp access to these programs, ramp up access to these programs, because we have the following assumptions. Number one, we still have so many unreached potentials which can still be reached. And we know that by reaching them, we'll be increasing access. Number two, if we're able to expand our network, definitely we'll be able to increase access to these programs. Number three, getting more workforce will grease the expansion drive. And so if we're able to get more hands to participate in the expansion drive, it will grease the drive. And then if we are able to put incentives and motivations for people to participate in the expansion drive, it will positively propel the drive. So in a nutshell, this is the background. Let me just pause and see if there are notes that need my attention. Okay. So the objectives of this drive or this scheme is to meet the unmet needs by improving access to online programs and to improve efficiency in logistics. Those of you who have taken courses with us spread across Africa, you know, we usually send certificates by surface mail. And so we believe that by the time we improve our network, we will improve in efficiency of our logistics. Then the next objective is to improve our program efficiency by organization presence at the regional level. We believe that by the time we create, if we improve our network system, we will become more closer to the regions. And so it will help us to become more efficient in our programming. So let's look at the different categories of our network strategies. We have two. We have the commission associates, and then we have the onboarded ambassadors. So we will start with the onboarded ambassadors, and then finally we'll see what the commission associates are. Now let's look at how we'll be able to operationalize the ambassadorial scheme. They are actually in phases, basically two phases. Number one phase is the probationary phase, and then the other one is the onboarded phase. The probationary phase is a 3 months duration. And once one onboards, the ambassador will remain on the onboarded one as long as the performance does not dwindle. And we have terms and conditions that we'll also review as we progress in this meeting. Now let's look at the probationary phase. The ambassador will enter into the 3 months probation, and he or she begins to recruit participants into the various programs. We have our programs collected in a catalog and is divided into professional development courses, that is the PD there, and then the degree programs. So we have two different cadres. Course fees paid by participants, they constitute what we call monthly revenue in this scheme. Now, at the end of the 3 months, the average of whatever the participant has been able to generate within these 3 months is calculated for each ambassador. Now, this gives us a strength of what that ambassador can do. And so that strength becomes his or her own monthly target. Now, at the end of these 3 months, we calculate 10% of what was generated from the professional development courses and 5% of what was generated from the degree programs. And then this is what becomes the fixed monthly stipend for the ambassador. Now, remember that this is 3 months, and then we are taking the average and calculating the percentages. So because the ambassador recruited for 3 months, so we are going to multiply this average by 3, and then we pay that to the ambassador. And we call that onboarding payouts. And so at the end of these 3 months, the ambassador is onboarded properly, and then he enters into the onboarded phase. Now, during the onboarded phase, the ambassador will continue to recruit, bearing in mind the monthly target which he or she sets during the probationary phase. So at the end of each month, after the probationary phase, which is 3 months, now we'll begin to do review and assessment every month. At the end of each month, the total revenue generated by the ambassador is calculated. And then 2% of that which is generated at the end of that month is calculated and then added to the fixed monthly stipend. You remember during the onboarding, the probationary phase, there was a calculated stipends, which we call the fixed monthly stipend. So during the onboarded phase, whatever the ambassador generates for the first, for each month, 2% of that is calculated and added to that fixed monthly stipend and paid to the ambassador. Now, the terms and conditions of this is, during this onboarded phase, for each month, the ambassador has to recruit and generate a revenue that is from 75% of the target that he or she set during the probationary phase. So that is the condition. As long as this 75% of that target is met, he or she will get 2% of that generated revenue. Now let's look at the terms and conditions. I know there are questions that may come, but by the time we are done with these terms and conditions, I'm sure it will clear some of them. Now, it is expected that ambassadors will keep up the good works that earn them the ambassadorial status by not only maintaining the monthly revenue targets, which they set themselves, but also aiming to surpass them. The reason is the stipends that we have pegged as a monthly stipend is paid to the ambassador from the revenues from the recruitment. So it means if there is no revenue, it becomes difficult to get the fund to pay that stipends. So that's what we're trying to explain here. And so based on this understanding, we are looking at the following terms and conditions. Now, assessments and considerations are performed at cadre level. What we mean by this is because we have professional development courses and degree courses. Now, the degree courses, if you get one, your revenue will be very big. However, what we have with the partners that we are recruiting for, that's those universities, it is not up to 10%. We do not earn up to 10% when we recruit students. And that is why we used 5%. So you will notice that an ambassador may generate more revenue from professional development courses. And so you may have more number of persons coming in for the professional development courses and less number in the degree courses. So what we are now saying is that each ambassador is assessed on these two different cadres. It is not done as an aggregate. So if we say you have set your target to be, let's say, $100, and then this $100 is divided based on your performance on PD and the degree courses. So by the time we go further, we'll explain this with numbers. Number two, the ambassador shall maintain a monthly revenue which is equal to or greater than 75% of the cadre monthly target set during the onboarding probation. Now, when we look at the PD and the degree that the person has set, probably he or she set $100 for degree programs and then $150 for professional development courses. Now, when he or she onboards properly, you might see that the person may have generated up to $500, and that $500 is predominantly on PD. So this person will be assessed based on that PD and not the degree. And so, I mean, vice versa, if more effort was put and generated on degree courses. Now, that 2%, which we explain as an extra commission that is added to the fixed monthly revenue, we call it a rake. Okay, so achievement of a monthly revenue that is equal or greater than 75% of the monthly target attracts a rake, and that is the 2% of the revenue generated. Now, if the ambassador's monthly revenue falls below 75%, I know that's one of the questions that might come up. What happens? Now, we expect, of course, it's not always rosy for all months. So we expect that if you do not meet up your monthly revenue for the first month, you try again for the second month. If during 2 consecutive months, an ambassador is not able to make a rake, which means 75% of the target was not met, we will call the attention of the ambassador and we'll do what we call a rare review. And then this rare review is just to look at, you are performing low. What's the problem? If there is any support you need from us, we would like to give it to you. And so we give you 1 extra month to perform, which means you have 3 months of grace. But we're not letting it go or drift that way. For the first 2 months, we want to discuss with you, find out if there are challenges where you are not meeting up, And then if there are some support you will need, we will try as much as possible to support you. But in the event that this ambassador is not able to do that within 3 consecutive months, the person is now weaned out of the ambassadorial status and then falls into that second category, which is the commission associates. Now, there is another point here to note. If the ambassador's monthly revenue falls below 65%, the monthly fixed stipend is calculated at 50%. Now, if the time that this ambassador was on probation for 3 months and then his stipend was $50, and then his target was, let's say, $500 or let's say $200. Okay, so he's earning $50 and he's supposed to generate $200. Now, what we are saying is, for $200, if you calculate the 75% and you meet it, we will add 2% to the $50. But if you're not able to perform 75% and probably you perform 70%, you will not earn the 2% rake, but you will still be paid your stipend full. However, if your performance falls below 75 and falls below 65%, your monthly stipend, which had been at $50, will go down by 50%. And then you begin to earn 25%. You will earn 25% for that month that your revenue did not hit above 65%. The reason again being that the stipend that you are paid is based on the revenue that you generate. Okay, so we have done this in a way that we should still be able to motivate people to carry on with the work. Now, in terms and condition number 4 is what I have tried to explain, that if an ambassador fails to earn a rake for 2 consecutive months, he or she will be called for a re-review. So we'll be giving, the person will be given another 1 month remediation grace so that the person can perform above 75%. In the event that he or she is not able to meet up during this 3rd month, he or she is weaned off into a commission-based associate. So what this means is that this associate loses the fixed stipends and can only earn commission on revenue generated from current recruitment. Then number 5, okay, I tried to explain this earlier. The stipends are calculated based on the performances that the ambassadors have made with respect to the PDs and degree programs. Now, let's, I'm going to run briefly through this so that we can understand them with numbers. Now, this is Ambassador 1 who enters the 3 months probation. During month 1, he made 100,000 naira. Those of our friends who are not Nigerians, naira is our local currency. And then degree is, he made 100,000 naira. The total revenue comes to 200,000. During month 2, what we see there are the things he performed for each PD and degree programs. The same thing for month 3. Then the total, we have 671,000 naira for PD, 577,900 naira for degree courses, and that is the total. Now, we calculate the average, like I tried to explain. Looking at the average for PD, you see the average for that 3 months is 223,667. And then the average for degree is 192,633. Now, when you look at the commission column, the 10% for the PD is 22,367. And then the 5% for the degree, I tried to explain why we are using 5%. Even at this 5%, we just had to use it. Not that we are very comfortable with that. No, we are not. But we can go along with that. Okay, so that brings the total to 31,000 998. That is the average for 1 month. And then when you multiply that 33,998 by 3 for the 3 months that this ambassador recruited during the probational phase, it comes down to 95,995. And this is what is paid to the ambassador as onboarding payouts. Okay, so the notes under the total revenue generated from PD and degree programs are calculated for 3 months. These are just narratives of what we have explained previously and what we demonstrated in this spreadsheet. Now, let's go to the proper one after probation. Now, this is what it looks like when an ambassador begins to work. So on the extreme column, we have the period, and assuming that March is the first month, second, April, May, and so on and so forth. So this ambassador completed the probationary phase in February, and then in March, these are his details. The PD target, like we saw from the last slides, are this, and the degree target are this. The monthly stipend for the PD is 22,367, and then the monthly degree stipend is that. Now, we have these color codes for PD and degree revenues. When the revenue hits below 75%, this person does not merit a rake. You can see that the monthly rake turns red and is 0. So it's a visual cue for us to know that there is a problem with this month for this particular ambassador. So we'll put an eye on him or her for the next month. And then during the next month, you can see the target are still the same. The monthly stipend is still the same. Then for the revenue, he shot up to 167. You will see that 167 is above 75% of 223,667. And so the color code is white, which means he passed. And you can see that also on the monthly rate, that he got extra 3,355, which is 2% of what he generated for PD. And then for the monthly degree rate, he didn't get anything because the 100,000 which he made was less than 75% of the target. So you can also see that the payouts for PD, there was no nothing added there for PD. And so we calculated that 4,000 plus, and then he got this. Somebody's mic is on, and sorry about that. Okay, so this is what happens every month for each ambassador, and this thing will be put on a sheet, online sheet, where it will be visible to both the particular ambassador and to Havron management. Then you can see for May, these are the same thing that happened. So whatever that happens, it shows, and it also alerts the ambassador, and the center alerts us. So what I want to quickly mention here is that there are times that the ambassador may overshoot his or her previously set targets. And so there might be need, like if you see for July, okay, even from June, you can see from June, July, and August, the revenue generated by this ambassador overshot the target. So it's something we can call and discuss. Do you want your target to be reset? You want an upgrade? Because an upgrade also has its dividends and demerits. Because if we upload you, if we upgrade you, it means your stipend will improve. However, the target for you to get your rake will reduce. I mean, the target will increase, and so your ability to meet it will also, you need to improve to be able to hit a rake. Okay, so these are things that are optional for our discussion with the particular ambassador. Now, let's look at, okay, well, this is our roadmap. We launched it on 23rd of February. The virtual orientation is supposed to happen today, which is happening today. We expect that by tomorrow, we will onboard those who have signed up or who will be willing to sign up to join. And then we also anticipate that from March through March, April, and May. Okay, actually it's supposed to be June. So we hope to onboard the first batch by June. I think this is an error. It's supposed to be June because it's first the 3 months, the entire March, entire April, entire May. And then by June, we will onboard the first batch. Now, we have some strategies that we want to adopt. We have our program catalog containing all the programs. Well, not all the programs, because there are some certifications that we have not finalized with some of the partners. And as soon as we are finalized with them, we will now include them in an updated program catalog that we'll also be sharing. However, we have for about 6 universities that we will share with the ambassadors. 2, we plan to support every ambassador to manage their participants in a WhatsApp group. We'll be managing our participants through WhatsApp group. So we are looking forward that when they begin to recruit, there should be a platform where their recruited participants can be managed, and then details of programs, upcoming programs will be shared with them there. Then we have a customized payment link for each ambassador. What this means is if the ambassador number 1, if the name is Ambassador 1, we are going to create a payment link that will bear this name so that once anybody makes payments using that link, that person's is, the revenue is linked to the ambassador's profile. However, we know that there are some participants who are hesitant paying online. They prefer to make payments through bank transfers. So we also will have that in place. Those in Nigeria, they can easily make payments to our bank accounts. Those in other countries, we will see how we can arrange for the payment to be seamless. And then we are going to have a performance tracker set up for each ambassador where they will see and monitor their performance. Okay, so these are the things that we have. And this is where my presentation ends. So thanks, everyone. And we hope to hear if there are questions, if there are comments, we would like to entertain them now. Thank you very much. If anybody has any question, you can raise your hand and then we can call you to speak. Okay, B. Ajame, yes, your hand is up. Please go ahead. Ajame Dixon, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Okay, is that okay?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. I have a few questions. Thank you very much for the presentation. This is quite interesting. I have about 5 questions. I'll just give them all. Number 1, if an onboarded ambassador loses the onboarded ambassador status and becomes a commissioned associate, what are the criteria that we use would the onboarded ambassador, will he be able to regain his status? That's question number one. Number two, sometimes an ambassador might overshoot his target, as you mentioned in your presentation. I think that maybe this is more like a remark. If normally an ambassador does not meet his target, there is a mechanism to reduce his monthly stipend. I think that automatically, if an ambassador is overshooting his target, there should be some mechanism that the ambassador gets more pay rather than wanting to negotiate for fixed new target. Number three, what are the tools that we use to work? I understand you have explained a few about the WhatsApp group and stuff like that. Are there any more tools like what courses are running on which dates and stuff like that? Number three, the number four, the ambassadors. Is there any provision for ambassadors to have any privileges if they intend to take a course themselves? And then payment mechanisms. This has to do with international transfers. Do we support the charges when we get paid as ambassadors, or how is the payment organized? Thank you.
Thank you, Dixon. And we have another hand up. I think I would prefer to receive the questions and then we can respond to them all. So Ikechukwu, Ekwebelem, your hand is up. Ikechukwu, please unmute yourself and go ahead and speak.
Hello, is somebody here?
Can I speak?
Yes, please. Ikechukwu.
Okay. Some of the questions I wanted to ask, the former speaker have raised them, but I want to add to that issue of if an onboarded ambassador could not be able to meet up and come down to the associate, is there a way the person can still rise up again to the ambassador level? Or does the person is going to remain at that associate level? If the person works hard again to come up, is there a way that you come up to that level of ambassador again? That's the question I have. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much. Ramat, your hand is up. Kindly unmute yourself and speak.
Oh, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, the question I was about to ask, the first speaker and the second speaker has already voiced it out. Okay. Actually, it's in regards to the reward if someone has overshoot his target, and also in regards to if someone wants to enroll in a program, what will be the arrangement, or is there any discount or so? That was my own take home. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, let me see. Okay, so yes, we will share the slide later. Somebody is asking that on the chat. Yes, we will share that so that it can make more sense when you read it again. Okay, so in the absence of any other hand raised, let me respond to the questions. Thank you very much, Dixon, Rahmatu, and Ike. So let me respond. Number one is if an ambassador fails to redeem his status and eventually win into commission associate, if there is a way the person can come up again, sure, that person, although he has a better status because he is earning now as a referral person, what we look at is probably the target that you set then was high. So this person will have to go through the process again so that he or she will be able to set a new target for himself. The system that we put in place is such that it is your performance that sets a target for you. So for the person to onboard again, he has to pass through the probational phase so that a new level of target will be set for that person, and then that person can continue as before. Then the second one is a mechanism for increase, just like we say, if somebody surpasses his target, if there is a mechanism for that person's salary to increase. You know that as your revenue is increasing, also your rake increases. So it's not as if the person is pegged at that particular level. So, but what we say is that if there is a consistent surpassing of the target for 3 months, yes, we can call and say, see, we have taken the average of your last 3 months, and it is above what you set previously. And it looks like your target is higher than what you said before. We can review your target and give you a new target, which will be the average of the past 3 months. And if that is okay, like I explained, it's not something that is automatic. If it is okay, then we will give you that and set you on a new pace. Okay, so that's how it's going to be for those who surpass their targets. Then he asks for about tools, working tools. Yes, once we start, because you have become part of us, you are our ambassador wherever you are. You are going to have access to all the information that we have that will help you. You are our extension wherever you are. So we definitely will give you every support that you need, including access to our portal, where we have, well, it's not really a secret thing. University of Washington, for instance, has their website. So you can always go there, check, and look for the upcoming courses. But what we do is we launch our recruitment ahead of the expected time. For instance, we have launched recruitment for project management, which is coming up in June. Site registration will come up in this March, towards the end of this March, and then participants will begin to register sometime in April, and then the course will start in June, but we have already launched that. Okay, so all the tools that we use to work, you will have access to them. Then the other question is if there are privileges for ambassadors who desire to take courses. Yes, just like we do for our in-house associates, all the courses that we have, if you have not taken any of the courses before, we can make you a facilitator, which means you will have access to all the materials just like any other participant, except that you will not take the quizzes. But if you want to take the quizzes, which means you want to earn a certificate in that course, yes, we'll consider a rebate for you. We usually consider rebate for our staff, and those who are currently working with us now, some of them paid 50% of the course fee. Okay, so with ambassadors coming on board, we could also apply that for them to pay 50% or pay 70%, depending on the course. There are some courses that after recruitment, we are not able to host, and they will move them to another site. And sometimes when we charge for courses, they may be, our charges may be lower than what others have charged. Sometimes the site coordinators will give us that concession and take what we've charged. Other times ours are higher. There is really no standardization in terms of pricing. Every site states the prices based on what he or she provides, on how she supports the people. Okay, so when that time comes, of course, those who desire to take the courses to earn certificates, yes, will there is a privilege. There will be a rebate for them. And then the last question was payment charges, assuming that whether they will be who bears the charges, if I may put it that, who bears the charges of transactions. Now, what we do is depending on how the person wants to pay. Now, if the person is paying through our payment links, the person will pay the charges. So you, the ambassador, because you are not handling the money, you're not handling the fund, it is directly from the participant right into our system. And then there is that tracker that monitors. Now, what we also do is, if for instance, we have Dixon who is recruiting for project management, we are creating a payment link for him, which once it is paid, it bears his name. And he will also receive email alerts that so and so payment has been done successfully. It's the same thing that we are going to do for everyone, depending on the course you choose to promote. Now, if, for instance, in Cameroon, you want to collect payment for the people there, yes, there is a charge that will be included in what the person is going to pay. So when that is included in the value of the CFA, he now pays. And then that takes care of the transfer that will be made into our account. Okay, so excuse me, that's how these things run. I hope I've been able to answer the questions. If there is any other further clarification, please go ahead and ask. And if I didn't clearly answer them, please, you can still ask again.
Okay, I think you answered the questions clearly, except the last one, which you made another clarification. But my question was not actually how the people that have been recruited pay. Of course, I understand that because I've actually taken a course. But I was asking, when you pay the ambassadors, my question was relative
Okay.
to ambassadors receiving their monthly stipend. Yeah.
Okay. No, we will bear the charges.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
No
you.
more issues.
Okay. Okay, so thanks everyone. And we have your emails, even though not everybody that registered attended this, but we'll still go ahead and share with everyone. And as we are sharing it, we are also sharing the sign up link. And in that sign up link, we are requesting for your bank details. We believe we won't have much problem with the banks. I mean, with ambassadors here in Nigeria. But for those outside Nigeria, we'll discuss with you how we can make payments into your bank accounts. Okay, so I believe it's not going to be of any big stress. After all, we receive payment from other countries. And so there has to be a way. So following this now, we are going to share that with you all. So thanks everyone for your time. And I believe it's going to be a wonderful time as you join hands with us to increase access to online learning programs and career pathways. So have a lovely night rest. God bless you all. Okay, Ramatu, your hand is up. Is it the old one?
Sorry, sir. I don't
Okay.
even know. Sorry. So
Okay,
thank you so much. That's for this wonderful and thoughtful information you gave us. Thank you so much. We really appreciate.
Thank
And
you.
we work towards achieving that.
Thank you so
God's
much.
will. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so thanks everyone. Have a lovely night rest.
And you
See you
too.
later through our communications.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.